everyone, my name is Anita Albrecht and I'm a personal trainer and a nutritional therapist. And basically this is for the Love Yourself project, and I'm talking to you today about some really good and easy nutrition basics that you can do at home. I know a lot of people in lockdown at the moment have found some basics difficult to get hold of. So what I'd like to do is just show you some options that might give you some ideas on how you can eat really well at home. Now, before I start talking about this delicious amount of food in front of me and what all of this means and how you can actually combine some of these foods, I want to talk to you about portion sizes. A lot of us at home don't understand how much we should be eating for our size, for our body, and some people go to calorie counting. That's absolutely fine, but sometimes that can get a little bit obsessive. So I think a really great way of knowing how much you should eat for yourself is by using your hand. You're probably thinking, what does that mean? Your hand is unique to you. The size of your hand can actually equate to the amount of food you should be eating. So what we're going to be talking about is proteins and carbohydrates, as well as essential very good fats. Now, the amount of carbohydrates that you should be eating per meal or per snack should equate to the size of your clenched fist. So say for instance that was fruit, rice, things like quinoa, potatoes, anything that's considered mostly a carbohydrate should be about the size of your clenched fist. In terms of your proteins, now protein should essentially be something that has most of the amino acids. You're probably wondering what that is. Now, your amino acids are found in protein, and they are basically the building blocks of muscle and help your body to repair. So your lean proteins would be things like chicken, fish, lean good cuts of meat. You're looking at eggs, vegan proteins like tofu, those sorts of things. And in accompaniment to this video, I will be providing you guys with a list of what's a carb and what's a protein. Okay, now the size of the protein that you should be having is the size and thickness of your hand, not including the fingers, but the size and thickness. So that would be the right amount of protein for you. In terms of your essential fats, you're talking about things like almonds, avocados, cashew nuts, certain oils, olive oils, coconut oils. You really want to be getting to about 1 to 2 servings of those a day. If you're a very active person, you can incorporate things like oily fish, tuna, and so forth. So I'm going to give you some examples between breakfast, lunch, dinner, and some snacks, and show you what you can eat at home, especially if you're limited on a budget, but also limited on the kind of foods that you can get. So I've tried to collate the kind of foods that you hopefully can get in your home. For breakfast, I think one of the cheapest, easiest and most brilliant foods you can possibly eat is oats. My husband and I actually eat these every single day, summer, winter, spring and autumn, and we generally combine ours with something like chia seeds to get some extra fiber, some good amigos, some good omegas, and if you want to give it some extra flavor, you could put some blueberries in it and say a teaspoon of peanut butter. We're very active people, we do a lot of training, so for us we actually like to add a bit of extra protein to our breakfast, and I do that by putting in 3/4 of a scoop of a vanilla whey protein. Now for some people they may not want to do that, but for me I make my oats with water, I put that in, and it gives it a really nice richness to my porridge in the morning. If you don't fancy doing that, one of the brilliant things you can do to add extra protein into your breakfast is by using some 0% fat Greek yogurt, and that gives it a really lovely richness as well. So that's an option for your breakfast. Some people prefer toast. Now, a lot of people say, is bread bad? Well, it completely depends on how much you consume and also the types of bread that you eat. One of our favorites in our household is this one here, and it is the whole grain rye bread, which is so dense, it takes a while to toast, but it leaves you really full. One of the most important things you can do in your diet is really up the fiber. The fiber keeps you feeling really, really full, and it's incredibly good for your digestive system and obviously helping you be regular. So that's a lovely thing that you can have. Now, if you wanted to put something on your bread or your toast, what better than some scrambled eggs? A lot of people have been finding eggs very difficult to get hold of during lockdown. We certainly have. And one of the things that I've substituted sometimes is this here, which you can get in quite a few different places, and it's just liquid fresh egg whites. So sometimes when we can't find our eggs to get our protein, to have that on our rye bread, then we will actually substitute with some liquid egg whites. The other thing that's quite nice on top of your rye toast is either say some avocado with some nuts and seeds. You could put some sunflower and some pumpkin seeds on that, and that gives you a bit of extra fats and protein as well. Or natural peanut butter. Now obviously I spoke about peanut butter before. We tend to use this one here, Whole Earth, because it has no added sugar. Be careful when you buy peanut butter, because a lot of them do have added oils, added sugars and other things in it. So you want to get the most natural peanut butter that you can have, or even things like almond butter are also really good. And you can even get like a pumpkin seed spread too. Just make it really interesting. It doesn't have to be boring. Now when it comes to snacks, a lot of people are quite anti-snacks and they think, will that make me put on weight? Well, if you eat too much of the wrong things and you don't stick with those portion sizes that I was talking about, absolutely. What you're trying to do is combine protein and carbs in every meal and snack. Why? The carbohydrates will keep your energy and your brain going, and the protein, of course, I said, helps with the repair of your muscles. And the great thing about protein too is it prevents you from feeling too hungry, so it really, really helps with satiety. Now, I've got some ideas of snacks here. You might think, it's a bit boring, but don't forget there's going to be an extra snack sheet, which I'm going to be providing along with this video to give you plenty of ideas. There's about 22 ideas of other ways you can combine some snacks. Some of my favorites here would just be some raw almonds and an apple, okay? So that way you've got your protein and your carbs. You might have, say, some baby carrots and some fresh beans, and have that with, say, 1 to 2 tablespoons of natural hummus. That's a lovely way you can combine your fats and your proteins and your carbohydrates. You might even go and think, oh, actually, I feel like a bit of a snack bar. One of my favorites is this one here, and it's called the Quest Bar. It's very, very, very low in impact sugars and carbs, very high in protein, and they taste like a bit of a candy bar, and you can get them in loads of different flavors. So if you're finding it hard to get to the supermarket, or you want something delivered, I actually get mine on Amazon. They're brilliant. Another one of my favorite snacks is having rice cakes. You can get loads of different types of rice cakes, and then you could have, say, some fish, some of your favorite salmon or tuna, and then on top of that you could put some cherry tomatoes, some fresh herbs, and you've got a fantastic snack with, once again, your protein and your carbohydrates. Now, when it comes to dinner time, a lot of people really enjoy cooking. Some people are still working from home, they're finding they're busy, and they don't want to have to spend loads of time in the kitchen. I find these an absolute lifesaver. This one here is your quinoa. You've got 100% quinoa. A lot of people, when they make their own from scratch, yes, you know, it's always best to try and make things from scratch, but this will heat in the microwave for literally 90 seconds. So that's a really great option if you're limited on time. Top that with something like some beautiful grilled salmon fillets. You could mix some tofu through that, or you could just have it simply with vegetables. The other one that's a favourite that my husband and I use quite often, just for quick and easy, is using some Uncle Ben's rice. These are brilliant. I don't know what we'd do without these. We'll probably have about 2 or 3 of these a week. Nothing wrong with white rice, but whole grain, of course, has a lot higher fibre. So we tend to go for brown basmati, whole grain rices, and combine those with our proteins for dinner. Now, we're not vegetarian or anything like that. I think it's a very personal choice what you choose to eat. But, you know, I like to give people the idea that they can get everything they need, whether they are vegan, vegetarian, pescatarian, meat eater, or simply just eat poultries. But some of the great vegan proteins that you can get are chickpeas, and also coming down here looking at your tofu. Now tofu, there's different types you can get. That's a silken tofu, which is lovely for desserts. And these you can do so many things with. One of my favourite curries that I make with chickpeas. I also combine that with some coconut milk, some canned tomatoes, loads and loads of different veg, and I often put things like your green curry paste into that and make it into a really, really lovely Thai flavour. Another fantastic vegetarian and vegan protein are black beans. They're very, very high in fibre, lots of vitamins in that, and you can make them into chilies, you can make them into curries, or literally have them on the side as like a side taco dish. Now, one of the things that I often substitute for, say, tacos or burritos, I love to get iceberg lettuce and use that as a wrap, so you can actually get the big leaves out of that, cook up some black beans, chop up, make your own lovely salsa, and then use it as a beautiful wrap. So those are great as well. Another favourite vegan alternative is jackfruit. Burgers, curries, all sorts of different things you can make this you can turn jackfruit into, and it seems to have endless possibilities and has such a meaty consistency. Now, the other thing that's great if you're on the go, or you don't like breakfast in the morning, or you want to have something later in the morning as opposed to having breakfast, I couldn't live without my frozen fruit. A couple of these that I'm going to show you are pineapple chunks, and also your spinach, mango, kiwi and kale. Now, a lot of people don't realise pineapples are really, really good. It has a fantastic enzyme in it for digestion and tastes so lovely in smoothies. You can make that with something like your almond unsweetened milk, or, I mean, the only reason we have this is basically because I need to keep my calories lower and I'm not tolerant to normal milk, so we tend to have almond and oat milk at home. We pop some of that into our little blender, we put in some chia seeds, a little bit of peanut butter, some pineapple chunks, and then adding in some spinach and mango, kiwi and kale. Now, kiwi fruit's really, really high in vitamin C, way higher in vitamin C than even oranges, which a lot of people don't realise. You've got lots of vitamins in your kale, and then if you really wanted to up the protein, you could add some protein powder as well. There's so many different plant proteins that are on the market now. It doesn't matter which brand, it just matters what consistency and flavour you like, but that's another thing that we add to our smoothies sometimes. So what I often say to people is try and get variety in your food at home. Make them single ingredients. Now what I mean by that is that it's in its most natural form as possible, and you're trying to combine, like I say, carbs and protein in every single meal and get 1 to 2 servings of good fats a day, like your almonds, like your avocado, okay? If you're looking at getting those kind of portion sizes and those type of macronutrients, that's what we call them, proteins, carbs and fat are also known as macronutrient, then you can eat breakfast, lunch and dinner and say 1 snack a day, and that will keep you refueled, full of energy and keep everything healthy inside and out. The most important thing is this, water, okay? You want to be drinking at least 2 to 3 litres of water a day, more if you're a very, very active person. So my top 3 tips would be eat protein and carbs at every meal, watch your portion sizes, and always try and drink between 2 and 3 litres every single day of nice pure water. A lot of people get bored with water and they think, oh, it's not something I really enjoy, I prefer to have tea or coffee. Go for decaffeinated, go for herbal teas, or simply put things like blueberries and strawberries or even cucumber and mint into your water. Just get that into your body and you will feel fantastic.